We're really going to focus on 3 main topics tonight. I'm going to talk briefly for the first part of the session. Then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to have you guys listen to a student panel who actually participated in a variety of different internships this last summer, just so you can hear kind of their feedback as well and take that into consideration. So first topic that we're going to cover is finding the right internship. Who can tell me what they think what that means, what that's going to apply to? I need to wake you guys up a little bit besides hearing the popcorn back there.
Finding an internship that fits your career interests.
Exactly. And we will talk a little bit more about that here in just a second. Landing the ideal internship. This is the tough part this year, especially with the economy the way it is. A lot of employers are cutting back, so we want to make sure that you guys are the competitive ones out there, the cream of the crop. When you think about it, on Friday there's going to be, I think I heard, over 600 students that attended the internship fair last year. What's going to make you stand out from the rest of the crowd? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then making the most of your internship is a third part of it. So once you seal the deal and get that internship, what do you do from there to make the most of it? All right. Finding the right internship. As you can see here, internships truly are that pipeline for full-time talent. I know several companies now are using them as more of an 11-week interview. I know that's how long our internship is. So basically it's a chance for you to evaluate the company and a chance for the company to evaluate you. So you really got to think about those first impressions that you're making. And every time you network with somebody from an organization, treat it as though it is an interview. And the next part, looking for an internship that will provide you with a practical, meaningful work experience. What does that mean? Who can tell me? Does it sound like the same line that you hear from every employer? Yes.
You aren't just making coffee.
Exactly. Exactly. What is that employer's definition of an internship? What is it that you will be doing? Are you going to be doing their filing? Are you going to be taking messages? I hope not. That's not what we want to see. There truly are employers out there that do want to provide you that practical, meaningful work experience. And what that means, using the stuff that you gain from your coursework. You know, we want to make sure that you are able to apply it. You didn't go to school for nothing. Eventually, that's what you guys want to do full time. So think about some of those pointers. Does the internship measure your potential and your performance? What does that mean? Somebody over here? Come on, guys, I gotta have you liven up here a little bit. Is this how you're gonna talk when you talk to the employers on Friday? Yes.
Basically kind of going off the same thing, making sure that you're using your potential and the things that you know to fully show the employer that you are capable of completing the internship.
Exactly. And during that internship, are you gonna want feedback? How many of you want to sit there for 11 weeks and hear no word from your employer? I hope not. What you want is some of the feedback. I know our interns last year, we had a set evaluation process set up for them, so it was similar to that of a full-time employee and what we go through on a yearly basis. Our interns came in, their manager sat down with them, said, okay, here's our goal evaluation tool. These are the goals that you're going to be expected to achieve over the summer, and I will help you kind of work through those, but this is what's expected of you. Then midway through the summer, are they going to sit down with you? Are they going to evaluate you again? Like I said, you don't want to wait 11 weeks to hear that final word of, oh, you did not succeed, or this is what you could have done better. So look at that process as well. And then again, at the end of the internship, that final evaluation, what constructive criticism can you take from it or feedback? And please take that with an open mind. Do not let yourself get down from any feedback that you receive, because again, it is an 11 or 12-week interview. And you want to figure out how can you apply that to make yourself more marketable. Maybe this wasn't the right fit for you, maybe there is another job out there, but how again are you going to apply that to make your next step or next position a success? So let's see, the next one. Does the internship offer training and development opportunities? How many of you want to go and do an internship in a company where maybe you are the sole intern? Or maybe you want to go to a company that has a large internship program, but you don't want to feel like 1 out of 200 interns. You still want to have that individual attention. There's a variety of different internship programs out there, and we want you to evaluate all of that. So when I say, look at the size of the program, anywhere from 1 to 200, you never know how big it is. Just look at how are you going to get that individual attention and how are you going to stand out from the rest of the crowd. Look at the structure of the program, which is what we're referring to here. So the training and development opportunities, what other things do they have for you besides your everyday work that you're going to be doing? Do they have development opportunities? Do they have job shadows that you could be participating in throughout the summer? Let's see, do they have lunch and learn opportunities, which would just be informational sessions? I know ADM provided 4 lunch and learns throughout the summer last year for our interns that maybe you were assigned an internship in one area, but you wanted to learn more about the rest of the company. This gave you a chance to attend those and do that with your peers. And we had different guest speakers. There's also a chance to have exposure to management. So there's different little pieces that are in addition to just the basic everyday work that you're going to do throughout the internship. And think about those and evaluating which program is going to be the right one for what you're wanting to do. Any questions on finding the internship? Or any other expectations that you guys would have of an employer during an internship that maybe I did not talk about? No? Yes?
Possibly if it's like an executive internship or something like that, that they would treat you as a peer so that you understand how it would be if you were in that position.
Exactly. You do want to have the ideal position so that you can make that smooth transition if that full-time offer does apply. You are using that time to evaluate the company, like I said, so you want to be doing the same type of work and not get a job offer at the end of it and have a completely different job responsibility out of it. So you want to understand that. Another program that we put into place last year, not to just plug ADM, but I want you guys to use this in evaluating others, is a PAL program, which is a Partner in ADM Learning, which is basically an informal mentor program. I know several companies out there do assign their interns mentors, so you have somebody else to go to besides just your boss. If you have questions, just learning more about the company, maybe you have those requests of, you landed this internship, but you have expectations of learning more while you're there and you don't feel comfortable going to your boss. How do you do that? Find a peer that can help you with that and then answer those questions as well. Landing the ideal internship. Companies are very selective. I already said that once tonight. With the economy, you really have to sell yourselves, market yourselves. Be confident, but not overconfident. In doing so, question I have for you guys, what are some, college habits that you probably should not take into the workforce? Or when you're getting ready to interview? Who can think of one?
Saying and like too much.
Which I probably am doing tonight, right? That's good. That's very good. Communication skills. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. Anybody else?
Procrastination.
Time management skills. Very good. Appearance. Very good. You probably don't want to wear your pajama bottoms into your interview, right? Like you do on campus? Anything else? What are some of those other bad college habits? Anything? Well, you guys touched on the 3 main ones that I'm going to address, actually, so I'm proud of you. Well, what we look for, let's look at those first. Academic credentials. So when you're getting ready to apply for those jobs, look at the job descriptions, see what it is that they are looking for. Do you have the right major, the right coursework? GPA could fall in there as well. Every employer is different with their requirements on GPA. And I know you guys will hear different things too about having it on your resume. So if you don't have it on your resume, be prepared to at least have that conversation if the employer asks you what your GPA is, okay? Or what you're doing to improve it if you need to. Demonstrated leadership qualities. How many of you are members of organizations on campus? How many of you that are members of organizations on campus have actually put what you have done within that organization on your resume? Very good. Very good. I can't tell you how many resumes you do see that just say, I'm a member of about 5 different organizations, but they signed up as a member and never did anything. Really what we're trying to evaluate is the leadership quality. So what are you gaining from that, And what are you going to bring into the workplace from what you've learned from those clubs or organizations? So be prepared to give examples of those as well. They will come up in interviews if you have them on your resume. Strong communication skills, and those will come out, not necessarily, you can't put that on a resume, but be prepared in giving your 2-minute spiel when you're talking to an employer. Selling yourself. Think about what it is that you're going to say to market yourself. It's your 2-minute infomercial, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before. Your conscientious work ethic. Just have a strong work ethic. Be prepared to give examples of some of the different work that you've done. And if it's not work, some people may or may not have the actual work experience for resumes, but think about volunteer experience, again, those leadership skills, and have a balance of that on your resume. And if you don't have it, now's the time to think about getting it. What can you do to go out there and start getting involved on campus? And show a genuine interest in the company. I can tell you with my job, there's only so much I can do when I'm standing at that career fair and I get you to the point of getting an interview with the department, and I can't tell you how many students bomb the interview because they don't even show an interest in the company during it. Make them understand that you want this job. Tell them, you're really interested in landing this position, how you're hoping to benefit from it. Be prepared to have some sort of conversation along those lines. Don't just go through the interview and treat it like any interview because you have 10 lined up that week. Make sure that that company feels as though they are the one and only during the time that you're spending with them. Otherwise, they will pass on you and just go right to the next candidate. Okay, and this is where we were talking about the 3 communication skills, or the 3 bad habits to leave behind. Greta, who of course wore the same outfit this evening. Think about the dress and what you wear. Understand the difference between professional business attire and business casual. Who can tell me the difference?
Business professional would be a suit and tie for guys, a suit for girls too, a skirt. And business casual is like a button-down, nice dress pants for guys. Or for girls, anything that looks nice. That's not
It's always hard to describe the female side, I understand. Yeah, what we usually say is business casual is the khakis or golf shirt with it. Business professional is usually suit and tie. And what I always say is you're better to overdress for an interview than to underdress. And when you look in the mirror and you're getting ready for that interview, if you have to ask yourself if it's something that you really should be wearing, you probably shouldn't. So think about that and always step it up for the interview. You can always get with the groove of it once you get with the company and understand a little better what the dress code is there. But like I said, always dress to impress for that first impression. Next thing, being on time for the interview. How many of you have heard the saying that it's better to be 15 minutes early than right on time? If you're right on time, you're late. That's what you want to follow. So try and be 15 minutes early for the interview. The employer may be running a little bit behind. They may not have known that you were early, but at least be there when they go out to call your name. Like I said, it's better to be early than right on time and miss when they come out to get you. Okay, I'm sure you guys all understand this better than I do. I admit I have not been out of college that long. I am a 2001 graduate from ISU here. And I can't believe how far behind the times I am on this texting language because I just don't use it on a daily basis like my cousins do. So please avoid this in the workplace. One thing you guys will hear now, and even once you land internships, is this is the first time that we've had 4 generations in the workplace. And I can guarantee you that if I don't understand this, my mother's generation really has no clue what you're saying half the time. So just be aware of how you are communicating in your emails to employers. Once you land positions, be aware of how you're communicating again. Just something to always keep in mind. Do your homework and research companies. There is no excuse for an employer right now when you come into an interview and I ask, can you tell me something about the company and why you might be interested, that you can't tell me anything about the company. almost everybody that's at that fair will have a website out there of some sort. So at least take the time, the initiative to go out there, research the company. Research the companies that you're really highly interested in before you even go to the fair this Friday. I see several students that walk into that career fair and don't know what to do next once they get through the door. I was actually pulling students out of the seats last year at the career fair because we were one of the first employers, and I see them just sitting there trying to figure out a game plan. Do that ahead of time. Do your homework ahead of time. Understand who it is you want to talk to. Go out, look at their websites. There will be additional employers that you may not know or have questions about, and you can always talk to them in addition, but those ones that you know you're set on that you want to talk to, make sure you're ready to make that first impression with them for those 2 minutes. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I was wondering, obviously you want to look at the internships, but what other information are you going to look at? I mean, they say don't worry about looking at the mission statement or anything like that.
Now, I would say the opposite.
Really?
I would say understand at least what the company does. Who in here can tell me what ADM does besides Greta? Can anybody?
ADM is, okay, I'm sorry. ADM works with manufacturing food products such as soybeans and I want to say corn. But one of their main headquarters is located in Decatur, Illinois. And basically they also they take the food products and they also, they have a program where they actually give it to other underdeveloped countries as well. They have one of those programs. But yeah, okay.
Very good. Basically, just to summarize what she said, ADM is one of the largest food processors in the world. We have over 27,000 employees, and we turn corn, wheat, cocoa, and soybeans into food, feed, fuel, and industrial products. So they have a hand in so many different things. Honestly, we say that you touch ADM products over 15 times a day and you don't even know it, and I had no clue until I started there what all we did. But you do want to go out there and research that. It will have, for example, on here, if you go out to ADM's website, it says right here, ADM facts. Just high level, a quick summary of what our job does. It'll take you 2 seconds to read through those couple paragraphs to at least know something about the company so you can speak logically to them at the career fair. I mean, you don't have to have everything memorized on all, 40-some employers that I think are going to be present on Friday. But like I said, at least focus on those that you really want to make an impact on and be prepared. And on that same note, watch your objective statements, because I can't tell you how many times I've seen a resume come to me with a specific outline saying they wanted to secure an internship at XYZ company, and it's not my company. Probably not a good first impression. So yeah, just have that game plan ready and go out there and review some of the facts. In addition to that, when you are researching, several companies now have put together these Life at ADM videos, for example, where it has people that they've actually interviewed talking about what it is that they do on a day-to-day basis. So if you're wanting to hear about an internship that's a commodity merchandising internship, you can understand a little bit more about it by going out here to the website. So just go out there and do your research and be aware of your online presence. How many of you are worried about employers being out on these websites? There is a concern. I would recommend that you definitely manage your reputation. I can say I've worked for 2 Fortune 500 companies running internship programs. Neither one of them have actually gone out there after they do interviews to judge every person and see, do I want to make this offer? Let's look at their Facebook photos. No. We don't have the time or manpower to do that. But I can't speak for all employers. So I do say, please manage your online presence. Be aware of what's out there. If you probably don't want your parents seeing all those photos, you probably don't want your employer seeing them either, or making decisions based off of them. So just be aware of it. And then also you will see that companies are starting to get more and more involved in the Facebook and the different networking sites. Please don't think of that as you want to keep it. We understand that you want to keep your social life separate than the workplace, and please don't look at that as a bad thing that employers are trying to get out there. They're trying to look at a way to manage it so that it's not intimidating to you. You can still have your personal life, but yet you can also network with us if you have questions or want to learn more about opportunities. So if you have questions on that, let me know. Making the most of your internship. This is kind of the third phase of what we wanted to talk about this evening. Really some different pointers for that. First thing you want to do is perform your work to the best of your ability. Those of you that have had internships, you probably understand what I'm about to say. I can't tell you how many times I've had interns call me throughout the summer, just completely worried about that full-time offer at the end of the summer. If you spend your whole summer worried about that, it's going to affect your performance. What you need to do is put your focus on what it is that you're doing throughout the internship, do your day-to-day responsibilities to the best of your ability, and I tell them if it's meant to be, the job offer will come at the end of the summer. So focus on what you can do to make that impact during the time. Make yourself be known. Like I said, if you're in an intern program with 200 other interns competing for only a select number of jobs within the next year that are going to be open for full time, how are you going to achieve that position? What are you going to do? Think about that on a daily basis. You know, you each are given the same or similar job responsibilities, the same common tasks throughout the summer. What are you going to do differently than that intern? Are you going to work with your mentor, seek out those additional learning opportunities that maybe that person didn't think of doing? You know, go to the next step and always think about what you can do to improve. Don't just settle for the average internship. Keep a positive attitude all summer long. It's so easy. Everybody comes in those first couple weeks, so much energy, ready to go, hit the ground running. You got to keep that energy throughout the summer. I know it slowly fades, and we would send out weekly messages to our interns saying, you know, keep it up. Don't let it start to slide, because you do not want to see everybody fading away throughout the summer, especially involvement with the different things that we have planned for you to help. Constantly challenge yourself. You know, that kind of goes to what we were saying before. Don't just settle for that mediocre internship. What's the next thing that you can do to challenge yourself? For example, set short-term goals, long-term goals throughout the program, besides those basic goals that you were given to achieve. Bring new ideas to the table. Don't be afraid when you're sitting in meetings with your team throughout the summer to bring some of those fresh ideas. That's why companies want interns. We can sit there and have group sessions on a weekly basis and go in circles with our ideas. We need those fresh, innovative ideas that you guys are bringing to the table. So that's the reason we seek several interns. Think about that. And then just be open to opportunities. Find a coach or mentor. We talked about that a little bit. And just utilize them throughout the summer. And then seek out the additional training opportunities, such as the lunch and learns, the job shadows, and then even at ADM, I suggested, you know, take tours of the other plants. I work in a corporate environment. Somebody else may work in a plant environment. Go out there and educate yourself on what it is that that company does. Don't just settle for what you do. With that, we are going to move to the next session here. And I am going to introduce the panel. So what we will do is briefly run down. I'll give them each a question and just kind of run through so you guys can hear some of their different experiences. We have a variety of different backgrounds, variety of internships as well. So I'm curious to hear everybody's responses. First off, we have, is it L'Oreal? Did I say that right? Okay, Flowers. And she's a family and consumer science major. Tatiana Washington, and she's a public relations major. And then Greta Sturl, who is a chemistry major. So if you guys can each just kind of go down the line here and talk briefly about what it is that you did for your internship and where you did it at.
And she said it before, I'm a family and consumer science major, and my focus in that is human development and family relations. So my ultimate goal is to be a director of a child care facility. I interned at Heartland Community College Child Development Lab, and I chose that one because they had a completely new facility. It was like completely renovated. It was green, sustainability, and like it was like the it place in terms of child development. Plus it was here in town and I was taking classes also, so it was kind of convenient for me. I interned in their child development lab. In their infant and toddler room. And so I was basically like an assistant to the head teacher and to the assistant teacher. And every single day I was just working with children, planning activities and things of that sort.
As Christy said, I have worked for ADM. I've actually interned with them twice. My first internship was over in more of a chemistry-based area, and I was doing research on second-generation biofuels, basically turning corn into fuel. And that really emphasized my chemistry degree. And then the second summer, I worked as specialty food ingredients technical sales, which was kind of highlighting my business minor and working in a corporate environment, making phone calls, tracking sales, and it was a whole different field, but I really liked it. So I had two things, one that I kind of liked and the other one that I really liked.
I'm a public relations major, like she said, but I want to go into more nonprofit work. So I intern with the American Diabetes Association, which is the third largest nonprofit in the U.S. It's in downtown Chicago. There, I worked in the income development department, and it's exactly what the title says. I was just helping them bring income into the companies, whether it was me trying to think of different fundraiser ideas or me calling different companies in Chicago to see what grants we can apply for or anything that they were willing to help us out with. The good thing about the internship is that although my main focus was in the income development department, I got to branch off into other things like with grant writing, the PR work. They have this big event called Bike to Drive. Some of you might know of it. It's in downtown Chicago and it's co-sponsored with Bank of America. I helped out with things like that. So yeah, that was my internship.
Very good. Can each of you take a minute and help us understand how you feel that your internship provided you more of a competitive edge by completing an internship versus those of your peers that may have not completed an internship?
A competitive edge just because basically when I describe the facility and the quality of the center that I was working at, that kind of puts me at an advantage. It definitely looked good on my resume, describing the event, all the things that I was doing, the experience that I have. And also I kind of had difficulty working with the staff. So going into my future jobs, I already know how to handle other things that you don't necessarily learn in the classroom about being a professional and working with people who you may be competing with and people who are your bosses and your supervisors. So I feel like I kind of learned the academic part of it and actually just the real life part of it of working with people who you have differences with to actually reach whatever your job duty or goal may be.
I feel that I have a competitive edge because I did do two separate internships twice with the same company. They saw that the first one was not a very good fit for me, and they found something better for me, and they saw my potential and really tried to highlight that. I also had the chance to develop develop those professional skills in two different kinds of settings, an industrial setting and in a corporate setting, and that is a very, very big deal. Like she said, you learn the academics here and then the real world in an internship.
I think my internship put me at a competitive edge because, like I said, it's the third largest nonprofit in the U.S. and because I got to work in several different fields within that one internship. So I know various aspects of nonprofit, not just the income development part of nonprofit. So yeah.
Very good.
Were each of you able to create relationships with people already working in your chosen field, and how do you plan on maintaining those relationships?
I hate to be Debbie Down or anything, but as I said before, my internship wasn't the best experience, so no, I wasn't able to create professional relationships and network with people the way that I would want to. I do know how to approach, sometimes you just can't force a relationship where there isn't one. So I do know how the steps to build one, and I do know the steps how to just, bag back and see, okay, for this person, we're only gonna be able to communicate in terms of work-related issues. But I mean, I know when to proceed with a relationship and try to use it to network with one, and I also know when to just strictly do my job and get the job done. So
I feel that I've networked very well within ADM. I'm currently applying for other graduate programs, and they are more than happy to write me letters of reference. Also, I feel like I've networked a little bit more throughout ADM. Christy actually called me and approached me to come do this, and that means that she must think highly of me, and we have a pretty good relationship if she feels that she can put me up here in front of you guys and say good things about the company. So it's very important. Just find a friend, find a buddy, find a pal, and then use them to the best of your ability and keep in touch with them. I mean, the best way to do it nowadays seems to be through email because everybody's busy. So I draft a little email about every 6 weeks, and I'm going to send it off to the people in my division and be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm still out here. So when I graduate in 2 years, feel free to keep your eyes and ears open for positions, and hopefully it'll all work out.
For me and networking at the ADA, what I did was the people who had positions that I was really interested in, I would literally go and ask everybody the same exact question. Hi, I'm Tatiana. I'm a junior at ISU. I'm interested in nonprofit. Can you give me advice on what I should do when I graduate? What I should do in grad school, and just like little things like that to build a relationship with them. So then at the end, I would get their card, and then, like she said, send out an email every 6 weeks just to keep in touch, because now those same people who I met, I'm going to ask them if they can help me find internships for the upcoming summer. And since they know who I am and they know what my goals are, they'll be more amped to help me versus someone who never even asked them a question, even if it's a question that you already know the answer to, just to establish a relationship. So yeah, that's what I did.
Very good networking.
That's a very good approach. We do want you guys to realize too, and I don't want L'Oreal to feel like talking about her experience.
When she said find a friend anywhere, within the company, I actually just thought of this lady that was in the cook. She was the cook at the center. She actually may have not, I might not be able to call her and ask her, do you have a connect somewhere? But, when I would go in to get snacks, she did actually, give me words of encouragement. She did help me stick it through, so.
And every internship isn't going to be a perfect experience, and we understand that as employers too. Like we said, it's that chance to evaluate what is the good fit. So if you go through the whole internship experience, don't be afraid to be honest with the employer if you know that's not what you want to do. Don't take that job from somebody else knowing that you're really not going to fulfill the commitment to show up on that first day of work because you're looking for other opportunities. Think about, if it was that good fit or not, and, find somebody else to network with. Maybe they can help you identify what that good fit is for you within the company or where you belong. Okay. Let's see, next question. Do you feel that your academic knowledge has been enhanced by the professional experience you've gained? I know each of you kind of touched on this a little bit, but can you just explain a little bit more how you were able to apply some of your academic knowledge in the workplace?
Well, being human development, I have a lot of classes about children and their different stages of development. And, it's one thing when a professor is telling you, at this age, a child should be doing this, or at that age, it's not appropriate if a child does this. So, being in the classroom, when I would see something that the child was doing, I could report back to a teacher and be like, well, I think that little Devin just moved up a step, in terms of emotional development because I saw him do this. So for me, being able to relate some of the things that I had been learning in the class to the teachers that I was working in the classroom with, it did show them that academically, I did know my stuff, and I was learning the material. And it helped because, now when I'm still in classes, I can refer back to those experiences and, talk from personal experience instead of just the text.
I completely agree with everything you said. And I feel that my first internship dealt a lot of my chemistry, and I don't know if you guys feel like this, but we are competing a lot with U of I, and I really showed my direct supervisor that I was very well prepared coming from ISU, and I actually overachieved on a lot of the things that they wanted from the research side. From the business side, again, they were like, wow, you didn't have to do so much. thank you, we appreciate it, and we see that you had really good training. So everything that I did learn, I could use, and then it was above and beyond what they expected.
With me, I can't really say if my academics and my internship correlated with each other. My volunteer work maybe correlated with my internship, but as far as academics, since my main focus was income development, the little PR work that I did, that kind of went hand in hand with some of my classes, but not as much as these guys, unfortunately.
Okay. Anything else in closing that you guys want to share about your internships that you feel that you did not have the opportunity to?
Just for me, I think you should just try to make the most out of it. Know that you are being for me. My internship was actually like a part of a professional practice, which is a part for me to graduate. So I knew that no matter how the experience was, I wanted either A or a B, and I wanted my employers, when they did evaluations or whatever, to say she has made improvement. And I thought no matter how bad I was at the beginning or how it was going through, as long as I stayed in contact with who was my site supervisor and she knew what was going on, and at the end I made some improvement, I felt that I had to get something out of it. They were getting the service out of me, so I had to get something out of it too.
Friday, when you go in there with a big smile on your face, talk to everybody, give your 2-minute infomercial, and you're going to be just fine. The employers are not looking for perfection. They're looking for your potential. And we all have potential sitting here in this room. So go out there and just do it and shine. Because you'll get an internship if you feel that you have prepared yourself and you're confident.
Yeah, I agree. I think when it comes down to internship searching, you have to be a go-getter. You have to have that mentality, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do this, I'm going to apply for more than one internship, and I'm going to get it no matter what. No matter if you're trying to apply to an internship in New York and you don't really know where you're going to live. That's me. Still do it. Just go for it. Just be a go-getter. Don't let people hold you back. Just go do what you want to do, and if you have that positive mentality, it's going to happen for you.
Very good. And just piggybacking on what Greta said there too, please don't think of the employers as your enemy on Friday. We are not your enemy. We have the same common goal. We're looking for people to place, just like you guys are looking for that placement. So like she said, we're here to help you, not to hinder you in your job search. So if there's something that we can do, let us know. With that, are there any final questions as we wrap up? Well, I will be around for a little bit longer if anybody does have a question. I do have a little gift for everybody for attending this evening. I'll pass these around. Get started with those. As I said, one thing that ADM does is process cocoa. So I brought you guys each an ADM chocolate bar. Give you a little taste. There you go. And if anybody is interested in ADM, I did bring cards here, if you want to pass those around, that describe the process. You do need to go out to adm.jobs to apply if you're interested. And I will be here on Friday as well, so hopefully I see some of you at the career fair. Thank you.